Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love this one this morning. It's better to be prepared for opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared for one. Think about that. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Come on, Patriots, where are you? Call in with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning to you on a beautiful Wednesday, July the 11th. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Get ready for a road trip. They've got the best of tires at all 7 locations, Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir, for the few days in a row.
Well, holy cow, what happened to all our Patriots?
Everybody must be enjoying sleeping in or something.
Oh, well, we can't. We've got to get up in the morning and we've got to go for it. So quickly, do the pledge for me, please.
Of course. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Attaboy, Wheels. And right now, let's go to the weather, brought to you by Roger and the crew over at K&R Rental. Nobody does it better than they do, and they do it earlier in the morning, I'll tell you. 7 o'clock, they open the doors at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Right there, smack dab on the Burley Paul Highway. Can't miss it, absolutely. With the rental of the best tools and equipment in the area. I'm telling you, they've got it all for you, from mowers and seeding equipment, rototillers, jackhammers, you name it. Roger and the crew have got it for you over at K&R Rental. In Hayburn, number to call 678-3122. I better say that again. 678-3122. You stop over or give them a call today. And right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Well, good morning. Scotty Cameron in with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Going to cool down just a touch for today. Looking for some sun. Highs are going to be around 88. Winds still going to be blowing a little bit. Clear for tonight with a low of 56. Then for tomorrow, looking for sunny skies. A high near 89. Winds will be calming down just a bit. Clear skies for Thursday night with a low of 55. Sunny, going to heat up a little bit more on Friday. Highs around 94. Sunny and 95 for Saturday. Then for Sunday, looking for a high of 93. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron setting in for Gina Jameson.
Oh, Scotty, good job. Thank you. And brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. These are really folks that can help you with all the tools and equipment you need to finish any kind of a project. So get in there, got questions, they have the answers at K&R Rental. In Hayburn on the Burley Paul Highway, 678-3122. Wow, busy day yesterday. One of those days, honestly, where you just want to sit back and kind of say, I hope I don't have to go through all that again. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927 4587. And you heard the forecast. 89, 92, 94. It's warm, and you probably want to snuggle up a little bit to that air conditioning unit. Well, make sure that it's working efficiently and keeps you cool, and, of course, with clean air filters for that AC. Whoa, playing one over really low scared me to death. And they've got them all at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. They get there early in the morning, too, at 7:30, and they stay there till 5, Monday through Friday. The best. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs at Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. While I have just a minute, I announced yesterday that the next lunch bunch will be at Denny's Restaurant on the 26th of July. Don't forget that. Put that on your calendar. And I really want you to be there for our midsummer classic of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner, with the best of menu choices, delicious food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, anytime, all the time, and served by really nice people that care. Stop in. America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. I hear you. I'm coming. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. This is the good news guy. The Senior Junction has a new service that they're starting. You want a meal to go. If you call in before 11 or probably even 1 o'clock, they'll fix you up a delicious meal to go. You can stop by and pick it up at the Senior Junction on South Overland. Today we're having turkey and dressing and mashed taters and yummy dessert. Forgot what kind, but I know it'll be good.
Well, Joe, I appreciate your calling, and I know all the seniors appreciate your effort. Just wish there were more like you, and I appreciate you and wish you God's blessings for a beautiful Wednesday.
Thank you. Well, we need everybody's participation that can support the Senior Center. Thank you.
You bet, Joe. Thank you. God bless you, man. Thanks. Wheels, did the double moo mean that I have another call waiting?
Yes, sir.
I figured it out. Okay, I'm going to ask you to stay tuned just for a minute, caller, because I want to talk real quick about our friends at Pomerell Place. Holly, if you're listening this morning over at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, they've got a great big health fair planned for July 18th. Don't miss this from 8 to noon. They're going to have vendors there. They're going to have prizes given away. They've got a $50 goodie shop basket and a $200 gift basket. $200 gift basket by Jill's Flower House. Whoa, it's going to be a lot of fun, and Cassia Regional is going to be doing the blood draws. That is at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley on July 18th from 8 to noon, Pomerell Place. And the number to call, 677-8212. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, in all the years that you did rodeo and everything, and they played the national anthem, did you have the option of playing the same one that we have?
What do you mean the same one? What are you talking about?
Kate Smith.
That's not the national anthem.
No, I meant God Bless America.
Yeah, I played God Bless America. I didn't personally play. I had the sound technicians play God Bless America in many, many instances. If I used that song for some of my openings that I did, patriotic openings. But, yeah, I mean, Kate Smith, I think she's an icon for that song.
She certainly is. And, you know, when a song that's that precious to the United States of America is murdered by some people. I mean, some people can try to wring it out further, and it just takes the spirit away.
Well, whether it's America the Beautiful or God Bless America or the national anthem, whatever. Artists that try to twist too much of their own personality and their own modern-day habits or traits that ruin the song, I have no use for.
that's exactly how I feel, and that's how I want to portray it, because, you know, it means so much to me as an American of how it's done, and it's done right. Just like when John Wayne does one of those spiritual things about America or Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Don't try to copy it.
Well,
treasure.
Well, the thing is, I'm a traditionalist, and I'm proud of that. And if anybody doesn't like it, I really don't care. I'm a traditionalist, and I don't want somebody to go in and destroy the well-meaning of the national anthem and or God Bless America, whatever, and try to twist it and turn it with all the little vocal ranges and everything else. I don't like it, and I condemn those singers and entertainers, if you want to call them such. Whitney Houston and many others have done outstanding jobs of singing the national anthem. And there's been many, many people that have done an outstanding job, and they didn't have to twist it and contort it into a modern type version, and I respect them for that.
Those words are well chosen, and that's exactly how I feel about it.
All right, Keith.
Right.
There's a right way and a wrong way, and there's a no way. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, thank you. Hey, don't forget Dino Septic Service. They get up in the morning and they do the job that you don't want to do. No, they put a big smile on their face and they serve you with septic tank pumping and liquid waste removal and sewer and sink drain lines clean. Yep, they're out there with a smile on their face doing a job, like I said a moment ago, you don't want to do. So all you have to do to get the best to work for you, Dino Septic Service, give them a call, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. They are the best of fast, fare, friendly service, and they bring that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. Let me see what else. Wheels. Old Buddy Wheels. Please, may we hear a good word about the Silver State Stampede.
PRCA Rodeo Action thunders into Elko, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. 3 big days for the 2018 Silver State Stampede. Nevada's oldest rodeo is family entertainment at its finest. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the toughest sports in the world. Action kicks off Friday, July 13th with mutton busting, a delicious tri-tip dinner, the Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dancing to the Jeff Palmer Band. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 with mutton busting starting at 6 and rodeo action starting at 7. And on Sunday, gates open at noon with mutton busting at 1 and the rodeo action starting at 2. Tickets on sale now at the Boot Barn and the Elko Chamber Office. Rodeo action at its finest. With the 2018 Silver State Stampede, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. For more information, contact SilverStateStampede.com.
He is big, he is not real bright, and he's the mayor of New York City, and he's crossed the line, literally. Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York City, crossed over the U.S. and Mexican border not only once but twice, illegally. And now old Big Bill, better known as Big Bird, he might be in a heap of trouble. Let me tell you what this guy did. And there again, here we go with a guy that is the mayor of New York City, and he thinks he's above the law. New York, this is coming out in various press stories, and I certainly hope the Border Patrol goes after him and possibly file charges. New York City Bill de Blasio was accused of violating, listen closely, federal immigration law for both the United States and Mexico for illegally crossing the border on foot near El Paso, Texas last month in June. Now, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection levied the allegations against the Democratic mayor of New York. Bill de Blasio was visiting the border on June 21st. And he was visiting the border to oppose the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy and the policy of family separations. Now, listen carefully to this. Let's see what happens and see if conservatives and the right go after de Blasio, and I hope they do. De Blasio was originally denied entrance into the immigrant detention facility and ended up crossing the border into Mexico and then crossing back into the United States. The mayor was accompanied by his NYPD security detail at the time. Now, here's what they saw him doing. The letter states, de Blasio's group was seen taking photos on the facility by a Border Patrol agent. After the agent found out the group was not authorized to be there, he asked them to stay put, don't move until the issue was sorted out. De Blasio and his people denied and ignored his request and drove back into Mexico. Ooh, listen to this. The mayor crossed the border with the direct approval, they said, according to de Blasio's people, and under the supervision of the Border Patrol advisor and supervisor, but they're finding out that is not true. So Big Bird, Big Bill de Blasio, Democrat, it figures, from New York City, might be in a heap of trouble for crisscrossing back and forth on the border illegally. And I, for one, would be tickled to death to see Bill de Blasio have to pay the penalty. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's not forget our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. They absolutely can help you get back to being you. Yes, whether you're recovering from a surgery or recouping from an accident or whatever the case might be, all the aches and pains, please get a hold of them today. Nick Greenwell and all the great physical therapists over there. They can and they will help you. And they've got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in this whole southern part of the state. They are good. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Call for an appointment today, 678-1191. They are the best. Want to remind you, too, that on Mondays we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox, and that's at 530 East Street on the Square in Rupert. All you have to do is answer one of our trivia contests, and you may be the winner of 12 delicious cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox, where they make all kinds of great cookies and pies and different desserts and wedding cakes, you name it. And boy, have they got a restaurant over there, too. Sophie's Chatterbox on the Square in Rupert. Don't you miss it. All right, callers, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The loony left, and I really want your opinion on this, folks, so give me a call. As much as you go around and you talk to various people and you listen to the radio and you read the newspaper and you watch the zany TV networks, the loony left is about to, in my opinion now, explode into violence. Last night watching the news, with all the protesters and all the things that were going on, New York to L.A., Philadelphia to Chicago, and boy, there's a lot of kooks in every one of those cities. But there's a touch that's there now that really I'm afraid of, and that is the touch of violence. These people don't care anymore. These people feel that they have to take back their country for just their means and methods of nothing more than liberalism, socialism, and the destruction of American values. There are too many people that are being harassed. There are too many people that are being attacked. And there are too many people that, with their families, are in dangerous situations right now due to the liberal loons and goons that are out there. It has to stop. From the president's family to members of the administration, to others, and yes, even myself, I'm sick of it. There is a lunacy and a complete out-of-bounds attitude in this country. And I'm very concerned that these goons are going to take the harassment to a new level. And I'm so afraid that people are going to possibly be hurt, injured, and even worse. There is a very strong coordinated effort by the left commies in this country, and that's what they are, that they want to see America, the Constitution, and our value system destroyed. If you don't see that, and you don't agree with me, call me anyway, but I just don't understand. You must be living under a rock. Things are getting worse every day. Every day at major cities. Donald Trump just named night before last the Supreme Court nominee pick. But prior to that, these goons were condemning and damning anything and anyone that he picked for that Supreme Court. And Joy Behar, one of the most disgusting people on television, came out yesterday and said, what right does Trump have to do this when he's under investigation for collusion and everything? All these are phony charges that have not been proved in over a year, and besides that, he's doing his presidential duty. He's doing his presidential duty, and he's doing it very well. And the left can't stand it. Your thoughts. I really want to hear from you. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't leave me hanging. Right now, I want to remind you, too, about Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts, and they've got three locations to serve you. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan. Hello, Juan! And 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli and the Nampa location. I'm telling you, they've got everything for you, including a complete line of Bobcat excavators, all the shapes and sizes, new and used, for sale or rent. They do have all the equipment rentals. They do have all the retail equipment sales. They've got what you're looking for, and I urge you to give them a call or stop in today. Barry Equipment and Rental, and they're located in Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. Barry Equipment and Rental, serving you. My goodness, where's the calls? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Another story I want to touch on. I've got quite a few things I want to mention this morning. The National Football League Players Association has filed a grievance with the league challenging its national anthem policy. I'll talk to you about that in just a moment. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
I am peachy wonderful. Who's calling, please?
Well, this is one of your fabulous friends, and I just might have already missed this. You might have already hit on it. I just tuned you in, but I just think we need to give praise and thanks for President Trump pardoning the Oregon ranchers.
You know, stop right there. Stop right there, because I was going to save that for the last 15 minutes of the program. But no. Thank you for bringing it up right now. We'll mention it. This is long overdue, and I hope that it sets a precedent to a lot of the liberal left goons and loons that want to see agriculture and ranching and farming destroyed. And I absolutely salute Donald Trump, like you said, for pardoning the Hammond family and the father and son. And I totally agree with you. Thank you for bringing it up like you did.
Yes. And also praise to those who helped those boys and that coach get out in Thailand. What a wonderful blessing.
You know, I do have a question for you, though. Do you think, and Wheels, we've got to cut back on that feedback just a little bit, please. Do you think that there will be possible ramifications and problems for the coach for getting those kids into that kind of a situation, or do you think this whole thing is just going to blow over?
Well, I don't want to be judgmental because I don't know all the circumstances of what led up to it or whatever, and I'm sure he feels horrible for the situation that he put those children in, and the life that was lost. But I just think it's a lesson learned for a lot of people,
Absolutely.
what we do in our actions and thinking twice about it.
And that's well put. To put kids in that kind of a situation, in the possibility of rainstorms and monsoons and water filling up in the entirety of the 2.5-mile trek into the cave and everything. Oh my goodness. This is one of the most, glad happening and glad ending stories that I've ever heard in my life. And I'm so glad they all got out.
Yes, a lot of prayers were answered. So I just think we need to look at the positive and acknowledge those two marvelous things that have happened yesterday.
Well, you know what? You just made my day. You just created a bigger ray of sunshine. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Zeb.
All right. God bless.
Have a wonderful day.
I will. Thank you very much. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't you dare go away. I want to remind everybody about Stoats Equipment. I have nothing but good things to say about Vic and the crew. They are wonderful people. Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland and Burley. And, of course, they put on every Tuesday Ag Minutes with ag events and people that are involved in agriculture. Thank you, Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer in Burley. They make your life easier. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Deb, those people that do all fighting about Trump's choice, that we're already talking.
Hold on just a minute, caller. Just a minute, caller. I'm not getting you on the air. It's really cutting out. I think you're calling on a cell phone. Is there any way that you can kind of hold that phone real still and we'll give it another go? Try it again.
Those people that wrote about Trump's choice for the judge and stuff, those guys had their talks all written. It didn't matter who got in. Go ahead and just believe the name.
I agree with you. Totally. No matter who was being the selection, whether it was Kavanaugh, whether it was Amy Barrett, whether it was any one of the other two, they were already marked as marked people by the left to go after and attack. And I agree with you. The left, absolutely. They've reached a point, I honestly believe, that it's going to get much more incendiary, and it's got to be stopped.
It's very stupid. It's not American, I'll tell you that. Have a good day.
All right, sir. God bless you. I had a little trouble trying to get the phone on the air. Sometimes cell phones, they can be touchy. Poor old wheels over there. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let me kind of regroup a little bit about what that lady called a moment ago about President Donald Trump pardoning 2 Oregon ranchers that were forced back into prison in 2016 to serve out the rest of a mandatory minimum sentence required under an anti-terrorism law. Well, this whole thing was ridiculous from the get-go. The Hammonds are multi-generation cattle ranchers in Oregon, and they were imprisoned in connection with a fire that leaked onto a small portion of neighboring public grazing land. The evidence at trial regarding the Hammonds' responsibility for the fire was conflicting, to say the least, and the jury acquitted them on most of the charges. The Hammonds served their time, but federal prosecutors appealed the case, and a federal court overturned the 2012 judgment. The Hammonds were then forced back into prison in 2016 to serve the rest of their sentences. Donald Trump, our president, saw this as a complete fiasco and pardoned the 2 yesterday. And I say, great, good news for not only the Hammonds, but agriculture and ranching. And thank you, President Donald Trump. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was talking, and I'll talk about any subject you want to. I just got some things I wanted to get into this morning quickly. The NFL The NFL Players Association has filed a grievance. This is so ridiculous and so repulsive, and it is turning more people all across the United States against the National Football League. They have filed a grievance with the National Football League challenging its national anthem policy. Now, the Players Union says that the new policy, which the league imposed without consultation with the National Football League Players Association, is inconsistent with the collective bargaining agreement and infringes on players' rights. You know what? The NFL had approved the national anthem policy at the owners' meeting in Atlanta. The policy allows players to protest during the national anthem by staying in the locker room, but forbids them from sitting or taking a knee if they're on the field or on the sidelines. Here's the deal. I hope that the players are going to wake up and smell the coffee and acknowledge the fact that they are given a God-given talent to play football, a child's game, and they're getting the chance to play it in an adult realm for multi-millions of dollars. They would not have this opportunity anywhere else in the world. But they're playing football here. This is America. We're very proud of our country. We're very proud of the sacrifices that have been provided for them, these football players, these incredible hulks, to earn a lot more money than the average American citizen. So my suggestion to the NFL Players Association is shut up, stand up, and be proud of what you've been provided. But these players and their lawyers are not smart enough to stand up and shut up. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing more problems, more of a contentious attitude this next season than ever, because of players that think they're above respect for this country. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Remember the movie, and I can't even think of the star of the movie, but it had Gene Hackman in the movie, and I can't think of the other guy that played the quarterback, but it was about replacement players coming in and giving it their all for just absolute minimum wage just to put a team on the field. That's what I would like to see today. Anyone that wants to sit or kneel during the anthem and make a fool out of themselves, and for that matter, the league, bring in the replacement players and let these overpaid, underworked slobs sit in a locker room someplace wondering, wow, I might have to go get a job at Kmart. This has got to stop. Respect for our country and respect for those that have provided them all these benefits had better go to the forefront. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There's a lot of great people in Oakley that are going to be celebrating the 131st anniversary of Oakley Pioneer Days, and some of the great businesses up there say, come on up and enjoy with us. Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main in Oakley with that hometown grocery store attitude and the famous breakfast sausage from Grandma's Recipe. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. They've been in business since 1924. Clark's for Shopping in Oakley. Along with Oakley Valley Stone at 204 West Main Street in Oakley, and they want you to come on up and enjoy the 131st anniversary. And if you're looking for stone for new fireplaces, a headstone for a loved one, landscaping boulders, they've got it all at Oakley Valley Stone. And Searles at 120 North Center Street in Oakley. Gas, grub, and goodies. I mean, I've stopped there many times. Great burgers, and they've got those specialty buns baked fresh every day at Searles, 120 North Center Street in Oakley. And don't forget this Friday and Saturday, the kickoff to Oakley Pioneer Days with the Bump and Rub car race. Woo! They got rules, but I don't think anybody goes by them. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bump and Rub four-cylinder car race Friday night, Calcutta at 6, racing at 7. Saturday night, racing at 6. For entries, contact Jeff Yeck at 670-1055 at the Oakley Rodeo Grounds, the world-famous Bump and Rub four-cylinder car race. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was the.
That's it. Yes.
And that and these players, it's unbelievable. And think of the percentage of them that are black, and then you have Black Lives Matter, and you say, you people are so full of that it just well, what do we expect from them?
Well, though, Randy, wait a minute. I want to go back to the movie itself, the gist of the movie. They brought in these replacement players so that the team ownership and the league could still put forth the games and get some semblance of income over the season. But the replacement players came in and they had something the real players didn't have. They had heart. They had guts, and they had a will to win. And quite frankly, I think a lot in the NFL right now are spoiled prima donnas that have lost that ability.
Well, that's the reason why, if the NFL doesn't watch out, they're losing their grip on, America's game, so to speak. And college football, we all know that those boys are out there because they love it, and we know it. And college football, every week is another thrill ride. There's times in the NFL when you go, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And once you destroy something like that, it may never recover.
Yep.
And, the owners realize that because they know that the controversy has affected their bottom lines.
Absolutely.
And the state, this isn't communist football league. This is, free market capitalism football league. If you don't make some bucks, you don't make it. And these owners that have invested in these stadiums, I mean, let's face it, if you don't have a tuned-up stadium, you're going to have to get one.
Well, look at the trickle-down effect, though, Randy. Look at the trickle-down effect that it's going to have if we allow these players to continue this absolutely stupid way of handling their protest. And really, I think a lot of them don't have a protest. They're just going along under peer pressure. But, it's going to trickle down into the college ranks. It's going to trickle down into the high school ranks. It already has. It's even going to trickle down into Pop Warner football. It already has, and I'm sick and tired of it. I am proud to live in this country, and I'm very happy to be American, and I know all the sacrifices that have been given for me to have what I have today. And these great big 6'8" louts, they're not smart enough to figure out whether bread is buttered.
Well, they get away with it. It's just like I've said in the past. Every day I go to school in high school and I get confronted by the bully. Well, one day I'm going to give the bully a shot in the jaw, and maybe the bully will be over with. You see, it's just like liberals, communists, and environmentalists. They get away with all this crap. It's just like the BLM and the Obama administration mistreating the Hammonds.
That's right.
The fact that you think about how the shock waves that are going through the deep state, Forest Service, BLM, the EPA. I don't know what's going to happen with Pruitt's gone, but let's hope the new one is just as tough. I don't know what Pruitt did. It's a terrible. I know that's off the subject, but
no. But the point is that we're doing the right thing as of late in the handling of not only the Hammond family with the pardoning thanks to President Trump, but also Trump going over to NATO and looking him in the eye and saying, wait a minute, you're only putting in X amount of dollars to NATO to support NATO, but at the same time you're supporting one of the arch enemies of the area by buying your energy from Russia. What's the matter with you people?
this is the thing. If you were president, you would have pardoned the Hammonds. You would say the things that were being said. You would do what he's doing. It's just logic. It's common sense. And I'll tell you what, like I said yesterday, he's redefining the presidency and how it is implemented. And like Lou Dobbs said, he said, think about when this guy is done after 4 years, and think about what will happen if he gets another, 4. So he had 8 years. The country will literally be so transformed that the liberalism, being the joke that it is, will be hopefully on the shelf for indefinitely.
One can only hope. I'll tell you what, Randy, I appreciate your call. I got to get my weather on, but I absolutely agree with what you said this morning. Thank you so much.
See ya.
All right, buddy. Hey, I got a weather forecast, and it's brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. These people can help you with your hearing health. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't you dare hang up. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. And the number to call, Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, for a hearing screening, 312-0957. I'll say it again, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Well, good morning. Scotty Cameron in with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Going to cool down just a touch for today. Looking for some sun. Highs are going to be around 88. Winds still going to be blowing a little bit. Clear for tonight with a low of 56. Then for tomorrow, looking for sunny skies. A high near 89. Winds will be calming down just a bit. Clear skies for Thursday night with a low of 55. Sunny, going to heat up a little bit more on Friday. Highs around 94. Sunny and 95 for Saturday. Then for Sunday, looking for a high of 93. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron setting in for Gina Jameson.
Oh, thank you very much, Scotty. Appreciate it. And our weather brought to you by some really nice, knowledgeable people that can help you with your hearing health. I urge you to make an appointment at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And by the way, the number, easy to remember, 312-0957. Please call them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. The real deep state is all the bureaucracies that 99% of the laws that we were regulated with are due to these agencies. They have their own Gestapo, and that's pretty obvious what's been happening. The EPA, if you have a wetland out in the middle of your property, a puddle out in the middle, they consider that a wetland.
Right.
And these bureaucrats don't live in the real world. They just want to justify their job. But the fact they have a Gestapo behind them. But the EPA was created by an executive order by Richard Milhouse Nixon, and it could be voided with another executive office, deal. But anyway, this is what we've been faced with. Most of the rules that we live with on a day-to-day basis, but why is the implementation, like through the EPA, is mostly the Agenda 21 coming directly from the United Nations. The Department of Education, we get the Common Core coming through the Department of Education, which, of course, is unconstitutional. These things are all unconstitutional. Well, our congressmen and senators are basically absence without leave. They take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and yet they let all these agencies just get away with murder, literally, of our people out here.
Well, let me interrupt you here for a second, Adrian, and say right there is the litmus test for any and all congressmen and senators. And I'm going to put my neck on the line here for a minute, and I'm just going to say that most of them have a far subpar knowledge of the Constitution, far less than you and I and the general citizen. Many of them are not aware at all of what the Constitution and the Bill of Rights says.
Well, unfortunately, you're right. Well, I'll just give you a good example of that. Article 1, Section 8 limits, Congress is supposed to be limiting the funding they could cut the funds off on all of these agencies if they would. I participated years ago in a round table type deal that one of our senators had put on here at the college. And, and so we were determining the federal budget. I mean, it was quite a deal. But so nobody wanted to start at zero budgeting. They start out, a cut is a cut in the proposed 10% increase for the agencies. It's not we don't zero budget. And so, but you're right. And our kids, I feel really sorry for our children that are coming up through the public education system because they're not teaching them the history of our Constitution and what made this country great, the sacrifices that took place. For example, at Fort McHenry, there were bodies, countless bodies, laying there that had died to put that flag back up so that we could have the national anthem. And it just galls me, and I know it does you too, when you see all of these demonstrations against the flag.
I have no patience, Adrian. I have no patience. I have no patience left.
In the sense that we don't understand our own history.
Absolutely. I have no patience left at all for whether it is the left and the liberals and the tearing down of our value system or whether it's the stupidity of the NFL Players Association, all of this. I have no patience left. I've got another call waiting. I've got to get everybody in fair time. Adrian, God bless you for your call. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, Zeb.
Thank you.
Let's stand up and make our congressmen and senators keep their oath of office.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Amen. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Appreciate it. Go ahead, please.
Deb, I forgot to give out the phone number for those meals to go.
Oh, at the, okay.
It's the Senior Junction.
Yes.
It is 878-8646. You better put a 208 in front of it. They also have a menu for the kids.
Okay.
So give us a call. We need to sell some lunches.
All right, Joe. Thank you. Hey, God bless you for your call back. I appreciate it. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What Adrian said just a few moments ago, I really stand behind because I'm going to start going into the fall for the elections, the midterms. I'm going to start hammering on a lot of these people. They better know the Constitution. They better know what is right and wrong. And if they want to be on my program, they better understand, because they're going to get kind of a inquisition, if you wish. I'm going to let them know, and we're going to check it out and see how much they do know about what the value system is in America and what the Constitution and our forefathers fought and died for. I want to remind you, too, about our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you if you're getting ready for a road trip. You just made plans over the weekend. You're going to go visit Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred in Tucumcari, New Mexico. Well, to get down there, you better make sure you got the best and the safest of tires. They've got them all for your car, your pickup, your SUV, your camp trailer, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever. All the tires for a safe road trip. Right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And many of which are on sale, so check them out today. And along with the best in brake service, and I mean that. Front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this, including the best of service. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I got time for one more call. Quickly, give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Let's see, what else have I got in there? Oh, did you hear? This is an absolutely pathetic, sick story, and I'm not going to have enough time to really give it justice. Sarah Palin, with her daughter, flew, I think it was over a half a day's flight to go do an interview that she thought was with a wounded United States veteran, and it turned out it was a comedy skit from Sacha Baron Cohen. It was all fake. to embarrass Sarah Palin. And she, out of the goodness of her heart, flew all that distance thinking that she was going to be giving support and lending support to wounded veterans, and it turned out to be an absolute hoax. This is despicable. And this so-called actor, comedian, Sacha Baron Cohen, I hope that his career from this point goes into the toilet. Despicable. Imitating a wounded vet in a wheelchair. And Sarah Palin flew all that distance to do a TV show and then found out it was fake, phony, and for nothing more than a Showtime series called Who is America? Despicable. I'll be back in about 7 minutes with more Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. Wheels, take it away, buddy. Oh, good morning, and welcome back. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. If you're getting ready for a road trip, stop in and see them today, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Along with some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, Wheels, can we have this good word for Western Waste?
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this free land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
You know, they do so much to help you, whether it's the route service to pick up your garbage, or whether it's the great big dumpsters in various sizes, or the Go Mini portable storage units. Yes, they can bring one to your house. You can fill it up. You can store it there, or they'll take it back and lock it up on their storage property. So all you need to do is just call them at 734-6969. It is true. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Want to remind you, on Thursdays, don't forget, we've got Cassia Regional Hospital on the air with us, and we learn more about the great people that are working in the various departments at Cassia Regional Hospital. Your friends, your neighbors, Cassia Regional Hospital, quality care close to home. Be listening tomorrow on Thursday at 9:17, Cassia Regional Hospital. And we also want to acknowledge our dear friends that take care of our furry friends and our pets and our livestock. And, of course, that's Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Oh, these are good people. And right now, watch out for the cheatgrass or the foxtails. They can get underneath the skin of your pet, and then real trouble begins. And don't forget, they can take care of the little bitty kitty cats all the way up to the great big dairy cows. So make sure that you get a hold of Dr. Bill and Dr. Jordan and the rest of the crew to serve you at Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. The number to call, 678-1177. They do, have the warm hearts for the cold noses. There you go. A little bit of a frog in my throat this morning. I apologize. Real quick before I get my guest on the phone, Wheels, can we have this good word for the Silver State Stampede?
PRCA Rodeo Action thunders into Elko, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. 3 big days for the 2018 Silver State Stampede. Nevada's oldest rodeo is family entertainment at its finest. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the toughest sports in the world. Action kicks off Friday, July 13th with mutton busting, a delicious tri-tip dinner, the Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dancing to the Jeff Palmer Band. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 with mutton busting starting at 6 and rodeo action starting at 7. And on Sunday, gates open at noon with mutton busting at 1 and the rodeo action starting at 2. Tickets on sale now at the Boot Barn and the Elko Chamber office. Rodeo action at its finest. with the 2018 Silver State Stampede, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. For more information, contact silverstatestampede.com.
Right now, we're going to be visiting, and I missed him for a couple of weeks on the air. We haven't had a chance to visit, and it's one of my better friends and, of course, great businessman back in Indianapolis, Indiana, author extraordinaire, Dave Beagle. Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Well, I don't like the okay. I mean, you should have jumped up and down and said vibrantly, I'm doing tremendous, but hope everything is well back in Beagle land.
Well, I've pulled a muscle in my right leg, so I'm limping a little bit, but besides that, I'm fine.
Well, listen, I can tell you all about limping, so call me after the program and I'll tell you what to do. Okay, I got to ask you this. Dave, the unions are getting out of control again, and they have been accused of certain practices that they've been skimming money for Medicaid payments for nearly 2 decades. A lot of money, billions of dollars used unlawfully. What are your thoughts about the unions and some of their practices?
Well, I've talked about this before. The union bosses, unfortunately, they want union dues for their own pocketbook and their political agenda and what they're trying to do. And that's going to get worse as we head towards the fall election here in 2018. And on top of that, with the Janus decision in favor of Janus instead of AFSCME, the public sector unions aren't going to be able to charge agencies or fair fees to people that aren't in the union and stuff like that, and it's going to allow union members to opt out of the union. And I think we're going to see a tremendous drop in union membership, and the unions behind the scenes are going to do everything they can to intimidate and threaten and keep these people in the union and get their money. And that's what this is all about.
Dave, how much worse, and Wheels, ride the gain on that feedback, please. How much worse can it be in this country without an all-out attack, literally, on people that are conservatives, people that are Christians, people that are members of this Trump administration, people that are conservatives like me on the radio? I mean, I'm looking at a liberal left right now that looks like a powder keg with a very short fuse. How do you feel about this?
Well, I think it is, and I've been talking about this for a long time. That their whole agenda is to bring down this country and turn us into a socialistic, communist country, and that's what they're trying to do. And but their monetary source is being cut down because of the unions. That's where the biggest part of their money comes from, and then of course people like Soros and that. And so they're going to have a tough time moving forward. And I'm hoping that Trump continues to do a good job and stays professional in that and helps people in the Senate and the House this fall. And they not only maintain their majority, they increase their majority, and we start cutting back on these things that the far left is trying to do.
Dave, you've been there. I mean, you've been on the front line with the approaches from SEIU, with your business and you and your family, etc. How much worse can it get? I mean, I don't want to paint a picture of doom and gloom, but then on the other hand, people need to be aware of how insidious sometimes these people connected to labor unions can be and can get.
Well, the thing is, the media is not going to show it to us, but behind the scenes, and it's already happening. I know the SEIU puts stuff out, and they're already going after members across the country, telling them, you better stay with us, and you better sign these agreements, and continue paying union dues and stuff like this. And they have no problem at all, getting people in a corner and intimidating them and threatening them or following them home and threatening them at their homes. This is the way they are. And it's sad that they don't understand they need to wake up and go out and sell themselves as a free market society and do the right things for people. Yeah, they may not be as big as they are now, but they be doing the right things. And by the way, there was, I don't remember which union it was I saw the other day, there is one union that's talking about doing that. They think they're going to reverse their tactics and go back to doing things the right way and be professional about it and be more free market capitalistic type of companies.
You know, what you just said right there is such common sense that seems to be overlooked and stepped on by the unions and the liberal left. Why not try to paint a picture of decency and trying to help people and trying to make situations better instead of thuggery?
Well, it's because in many cases, Zeb, and I've met and talked to these people over the years, they really don't understand how to go out and sell themselves and their business and what they're selling and the benefits of what they do and do it in a professional way. It's not a big part of their nature. They're more the type of people that are bullies that want to just tell you this is what's going to happen. You're going to do it, and you better sign up. And they need to get away from that, and they need to find new people that can run their unions that understand that stuff, and then go back and do the right things for the membership. Because there are companies in this country that the employees deserve to unionize because the companies aren't treating them very well.
Right.
And but it's got to be done the right way.
Let me attach another rope to this story that we're talking about. Unions, the National Football League Players Association, now they're going to come out and say that they may sue the NFL because the Players Association, feel the players have the right to make idiots out of themselves by kneeling and sitting during the national anthem. What they're doing, in my opinion, and I turn this over to you for some common sense also, what they're doing, in my opinion, is they're destroying, absolutely brick by brick, they're tearing down a wall of decency that the NFL has gained in an image and reflected to the community for years and years. They're tearing it apart and throwing it away. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. But again, they're bullies. They don't understand that they need to go out and approach things from a professional standpoint and negotiate. If they can negotiate and win some things, fine. But you can't go out and be bullies and turn, just tear everything apart and expect at the end of the day you're going to be a winner. And if you look at the unions now, a big majority of them, from the union dues they collect, 45% of it goes to politics. About 95% of that goes to the Democratic Party. And so they're using all that money for politics. And in many cases, their health care programs are underfinanced, and so are their retirement programs. I mean, they're almost, just ready to go away. So this tells you that their agenda isn't for the people. Their agenda is for themselves.
Well, there is no, I don't know, Dave, you're a large employer. You've got a lot of people working for you. But you've got to set some rules. You've got to set some parameters. You've got to set down some dictates as to how they're going to represent your company, what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. That's the same in the NFL. The owners have got to have some power over their employees, or everything's just going to be like a Chinese fire drill. And that's what I think unions are doing right now, like the players' union. They're destroying the fabric of an employer-employee relationship.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what it's all about. Because what they want to do is put so much pressure on the owners that they cave in and give in, and that's what the SEIU tried to do with us. But the NFL owners, and they need to stand up and push back and do the right things, but again, be honest and professional about it, and expose the fact that the other side isn't being honest, that they're not being professional, and they're not doing this for the good of the membership. They're doing it for their own pocketbook.
Absolutely. I've got to ask you, because I know you follow this. I know that you personally know Vice President Mike Pence. I know that you probably followed the Supreme Court nomination and now all the hubbub that has erupted since night before last over Judge Kavanaugh. What are your thoughts about the Supreme Court and Donald Trump's pick?
It appears to me that Kavanaugh is a pretty good guy. He's behind the Constitution and free speech, and upholding the rights of our country. And he's a Christian, he's a Catholic guy, and I think he's done some good things during his tenure, and I think he'll be a good pick. I really do. But I do think we're going to have a real contentious Senate vote here. But hopefully Mitch McConnell can stand up and get these people in line and get it done here, and before the elections here in the fall. But I will tell you, out there already, there's Republicans running in different states against Democratic senators, and they're already exposing these guys that you guys better stand up and support Kavanaugh.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using it against them in their campaign stuff. So this could be a tough time for the Democrats if they don't stand up and vote for Kavanaugh and get him on the Senate, or on the Supreme Court, excuse me.
Dave, you and I are approximately the same age, but have you ever, in your adult life, do you ever remember seeing so much of a powder keg with a short fuse that is going on in this country today? The left is after everything. They're attacking everything. They're trying to destroy the fabrics and values of this country, and violence is looming on the horizon. I've never seen it this bad. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're exactly right. And like I said, this comes back to, people probably get tired of hearing me saying it, but it's their goal, their objective to bring down this country. And they're getting very worried, and because of they're losing. They lost in the 2016 election. They're concerned about this election. They're seeing Democrats that are moving away from the party, and the union dues membership is going down. Union dues is going down, which is a big part of their financial support. And so, they're desperate. And at the end of the day, desperate people do desperate things.
Do you see back in your area of the United States, back in Indianapolis and around the surrounding area, do you see more of an attitude of, boy, things are turning around, boy, there's more hope, boy, there's more career advantages and career goals that can be met, boy, if I really put my shoulder to the wheel, I can make more money from my family, I can be more successful? What do you hear and feel back in the Midwest?
Yeah, I think there's a definite feeling here in the Midwest, and when you talk to people on both sides of the aisle, that Trump has done some great things, and he's moving the country forward in the right direction. And he's given the people opportunities to go out and work hard and persevere, and make decisions on their own, and move forward in life. And that's what people want. I think people are beginning to realize that they don't want a government that's trying to control them.
Absolutely. This past week, we all were following the absolutely horrendous story about 12 young boys, trapped in a cave along with their coach back in Thailand, and the absolutely amazing rescue that had to be performed by the Navy SEALs, etc. Whoa! What did you think about that? I personally don't think I would have been strong enough, because I'm claustrophobic, to do what these young boys did to get out of there.
No, you got to respect them for hanging in there for that long a period, and getting out, and the Navy SEALs getting in there and getting them out. That was a tough position to be in. My only question is, why did they put him in that position to start with, knowing the dangers of it? But thank God it all came out well, and they're all out and safe, and they can move forward.
Absolutely, and I agree with everything you said. I got about a minute or so left, and I don't want to pick the topics all the time. I'll let you. Do you have anything else you want to mention this morning while I have you on the phone?
Yeah, I want to go back real quick to this Janus Supreme Court decision, and the National Right to Work Foundation in Washington knows that the unions are going to be out there trying to keep people from stop paying union dues and that, and they know these people need direction and help in understanding how they get the union dues being deducted from their paychecks and that. And they have a site, and I encourage all your listeners and to go to the site or tell people who are union people to go to the site. And it's called myjanusrights.org.
Mm-hmm.
And,
okay.
Again, myjanusrights.org. And on there, they'll find two sections. One is a Janus Rights letter for current union members. And this is a letter that the union members can fill out and send to their employers, was state, local government, or whatever it is, teachers. And they can send to the union, and they can keep one for themselves that says, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I don't want these dues deducted from my paycheck. And this is a good way to get this done. And I encourage you to really, spread this around. And the other section is Janus Rights letters for non-members, because you're going to have unions going out there trying to force unionized people in that, and or people who become new employees in state, local governments, teachers, whatever, and they need to know going in that they have the right to send a letter to the union saying, I'm not going to be a member of your union, and also tell the business that. So I encourage you to really get this spread amongst your listeners out there.
Absolutely. And by the way, I'm going to be sending you another gift, and it's going to be a can of 3-in-1 oil to oil that squeaky chair of yours.
Sorry about that. Actually, I'm getting a new chair. It should be in here, I think it's mid-August. So.
Okay, we'll look forward to it. Dave, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on the program. God's blessings to you, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Have a great week. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care. Bye. Dave Bego, Indianapolis, Indiana, author of the books The Devil at Our Doorstep, The Devil at My Doorstep, and he knows about a lot of things going on in this country politically. Okay, now let's take a look over here and tell everybody about our dear, dear friend, and that's Joel Heward. And Joel, of course, at Hanson Mortuary with his family and his staff, serving you and your family, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. When there's the passing of a loved one, everything just absolutely comes to a screeching halt. You don't know what to do. You don't know what has to be done in a short period of time. Wait a minute. Stop. Call their number, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary. They can and they will help you. Please remember that. Joel Heward, staff and family at Hanson Mortuary, and of course Joel also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Wonderful, nice people. On Thursday, we have a special segment called The Old Fishing Hole with Josh, the fishing entrepreneur and guru at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Sportsman's Warehouse, of course, with everything. I mean everything for the sportsman and the outdoor enthusiast. They've got it all for you. And Josh I've got to call him. I forgot to call earlier this morning to see where he's going to be fishing tomorrow, but we're going to have him actually fishing on the program at 10:30 when we talk to him. So don't miss it. Tomorrow, 10:30, The Old Fishing Hole with Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse. And we thank Sportsman's Warehouse and Reese for the sponsorship. Thank you very much. By the way, some really, really nice people serving you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And they're located at 459 Overland in Burley. And they've got what had started on the 1st of this month, July, the red, white, and blue sale. Holy smokes, floor coverings on sale, carpeting on sale, luxury vinyl flooring on sale, love seats in stock on sale, bedroom grid. The list goes on and on and on. On sale, on sale, on sale. Save money. All of this and more at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland and Burley. You stop in and see Jeff and the crew. And by the way, very knowledgeable people serving you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I want to remind you, too, that yesterday on Tuesday we had Vicky's Country Garden talking about gardening and how to take care of all the bugs and all the watering and the chemicals and everything. She is really sharp. Don't forget Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663. And we'll be talking to her again on next Tuesday and looking forward to it. Lunch Bunch. Bunch. Want to remind you about Lunch Bunch. It's going to be on the 26th. That is Thursday the 26th at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant, Zeb's Lunch Bunch. And we're going to be there at 11:30 and enjoying the great food and all the really nice people at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. We hope you can be with us. 11:30 on the 26th, Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant. Yep, going to be there. Hope you are too. And let's ride. Holy moly, at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Hello, Nick. Hello, Randy. These are nice people that absolutely encourage you to get outside and enjoy the great scenery and the great atmosphere and environment of Southern Idaho. Absolutely. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. They've got all the ATVs over there, 0% financing on ATVs right now. They've got all the watercrafts for the rivers and the lakes and the streams. You better get over there and check it out. And all the accessories. Everything you need, along with a great service department to keep you running. Let's ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and it is true. This is where the fun is sold. Absolutely. Right now, a gentleman that's been on my program many times in the past, and I have the utmost respect for him and his writing for thestream.org. We are blessed to have an old friend that we haven't talked to for a long time. John Zemerick, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How you doing?
You know, John, it's been a long time. It's been since, I think, way back in April since we've had you on the air. What has John Zemerick been doing with all his spare time?
Well, I've had a new book come out, The Politically Incorrect Guide to Immigration.
I have got to read it. Where do I find it?
Oh, it's at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Yeah, Politically Incorrect Guide to Immigration. I co-wrote it with Al Perota, who's one of my colleagues at Stream.org, and people are telling me that they like it. I'm getting good feedback on it.
Get me a copy so I can read it, peruse it, and highlight it. And I've had Al on the air before. I've had you on numerous times. Give us a thumbnail sketch of what the book is about.
Sure. It lays out, first of all, the controversy about immigration and the fallacies that dominate the media. The official story that gets in major media that most politicians are willing to tell, and the dangers that uncontrolled immigration, both legal and illegal, pose to America, especially to America's poor people who are looking for jobs, the working poor, trying to support their families, the crime problems, the national security problems, the rise in Islamic terrorism, and also in crime connected with drug cartels. So it goes through all the reasons you might be concerned about this and why it's a perfectly normal political issue. That it's not some crank issue for, racial nuts, like the way interracial marriage would be. No, immigration is changing the face of America politically, economically, and militarily.
Absolutely.
Because our southern border is currently under the control of Mexican drug and human trafficking cartels that rape 80% of the women they smuggle in from Central America. 80% of the women and girls get raped on the way into the U.S., according to the Huffington Post. So given that our southern border is the sovereign territory of gangs like MS-13, this is a very serious issue. We go through the history of immigration from the Founding Fathers up through, the present, and show how attitudes towards immigration have changed. The reality of immigration has changed. We look at the Statue of Liberty and we read that nice poem, and we don't think about, at the time when we accepted millions of unskilled people back then, like my grandfathers on both sides, we had a huge empty continent that we had just taken from the Indians. We could give anyone a farm. In fact, we were paying people to take farms. We needed hundreds of thousands of unskilled laborers for the enormous factories that were cropping up everywhere. Well, now our factories are, factories like that with low-skilled labor have been moved to Latin America or Haiti or China or Singapore or Vietnam. We don't have jobs for people with low skills, with no skills, or high school dropouts. We're we're not creating jobs for those people at living wages. So that's part of the reason that the working class in America has not gotten a pay raise in 40 years, a lifetime, basically.
Right.
Generational. Because we're constantly flooding the market with cheap labor. So we cover all those things. We cover how Ted Kennedy set up our current crackpot immigration system, which is based on nepotism. It doesn't matter your skills. We just admit you if you happen to have a brother or a cousin or an uncle in the country. That's it. It's totally corrupt. It's nothing to do with America's self-interest or the best interest of the country. We also talk about the fact that, in the past when people came as immigrants, there was no welfare state. So if things didn't work out, if they couldn't find work, they went home. 1 out of 3 Italian immigrants didn't, tried it out, couldn't find a job, and went home. 1 of 3. How many people do you think go back to Honduras rather than, I don't know, stay on welfare in America for 4 generations if things don't work out?
Absolutely.
So and add to all that, we no longer require or even expect immigrants to assimilate, to learn American culture, to learn American politics, to adhere to American culture. No, we've set ourselves up that we have to apologize and we have to assimilate to the newcomers. That is national suicide.
Absolutely.
So for all these reasons, Donald Trump's attempt to control our borders and reduce legal immigration are really life or death for the future of the country. Add in the fact of how immigrants typically vote. 81% of Mexican immigrants, 81% favor bigger government. So if you're wondering why one state after another is turning blue, purple or blue, and why the U.S., the pro-life conservative candidate, has only won the popular vote once since 1988. Since 1988, the Democrats have won the popular vote in every election except 2004.
Wow.
This can't continue. We're not going to have a country anymore. We're certainly not going to have religious liberty or pro-life bills. I mean, the game is almost over. This is why Hillary was so sure she was going to win, because she almost did. And if we keep bringing in 1 million poor people a year with the collusion of Republicans like Paul Ryan, it's over next time. There'll be no more conservative presidents, no more moderately conservative presidents. It's going to be, the presidents will be resolved in the Democratic primaries. And you'll have people like Hillary Clinton trying to hold back people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So it'll be moderate socialists versus radical socialists.
Yes.
That will be American politics.
I agree. Let me ask you this. When you were writing the book with Al Parada, what did you, John Zemurek, learn that maybe you weren't aware of about immigration and illegal aliens coming into this country? What did you learn that perhaps scared you with the fact that you weren't aware of when you started writing the book?
Just the sheer scale of it, the fact that our southern border is so completely out of control, or it's under the cartel's control, just how lockstep recent immigrants tend to be in voting for left-wing Democrats who are pro-choice, really just, and how apathetic the Republican Party has been up until Trump took it over. Just playing along just for the sake of cheap labor so that helps a few people's stock portfolios. Meanwhile, the country destroys itself.
Absolutely. John, the recent night before last announcement of Judge Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court, your piece that you wrote about Mr. Kavanaugh Brett Kavanaugh was exactly correct and spot on. Give us kind of a synopsis about your thoughts with Judge Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, he's a big improvement on Anthony Kennedy, but I would like to see somebody who I know for sure is going to overturn bad precedents like Roe v. Wade and Casey v. Planned Parenthood and Obergefell, because all those terrible Supreme Court decisions with no grounding in the Constitution whatsoever are being used to create enormous injustice. Abortion is an injustice to almost 1 million children a year. Same-sex marriage has been used to persecute Christian business owners across the country, and it's just also a lie, and it attacks a fundamental institution of society. We can't have decisions like that made by a cabal of old men who went to Yale or Harvard or Stanford, and then say, "Oh, it's sacrosanct. It's a precedent. It's settled law. It's a pagan god that we worship, basically." And stop asking questions. We're not allowed to change this ever. There's no democratic way to change this. It's out of reach. Shut up. Do what we say. That's basically what Anthony Kennedy said in Casey v. Planned Parenthood. And the whole pro-life movement has been delivering for Republican presidential candidates one after another in the hope of fixing the Supreme Court. And now we have to accept a sort of compromise candidate who might vote our way, but he might not. And that's because we don't have enough Republicans in the Senate. So the way to fix that is not to yell at President Trump for picking a compromise candidate when we have very few votes. It's to elect more Republicans to the Senate to the point where President Trump could appoint Steve Bannon or Don Trump Jr. to the court, and the Senate would have the votes to confirm it. So that's my answer.
What did you think about the 4 finalists in general with all the qualifications and the absolute loony left that was out protesting the pick of the nominee even before it happened?
Yeah, that was hilarious that they had all those pre-made signs. They had signs that protest each of the 4 in the same hysterical terms. That tells me they're going to be equally hysterical no matter who we pick, so we might as well pick the people we really want. Again, I don't know enough about Kavanaugh. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying we don't know that he's great. We don't know that he'll overturn these evil, destructive precedents. I think Amy Barrett probably was more likely to overturn those precedents, but again, she's a very thin track record. We're just assuming a lot based on the fact that she's a Catholic with 7 kids. But, the Kennedys had a lot of kids, too. That doesn't necessarily prove anything. But, there were a lot of good things to like about Barrett. I think the next time we probably ought to pick her, and the Democrats are going to go after her for her religion and for her motherhood, and that will hurt them politically. I think that Trump should have picked that fight this time. It would have helped him win the midterm elections, which is very dicey. If any of you are listening to this, you have to make sure to get out and vote in those midterm elections because it's close, and currently the Democrats are getting stronger. And if they win, President Trump is effectively out of office because he won't be able to accomplish anything. They will impeach him. They will have a Stalinist show trial impeachment that will consume the next 2 years of his presidency over nothing on these nonsensical made-up charges. America will just grind to a halt. And it's going to be a disaster, and, we're going to want revenge. So I suspect the next time there's a Democrat president or Republican Congress, you can expect a frivolous impeachment charge. I think this is going to really damage our constitutional system, possibly irreparably. So, and the only way to stop that is to stop the Democrats from taking over the Congress while Trump is president. It needs to never happen again because it will be an utter catastrophe, and they will sabotage the country. They will try to drive the school bus off a cliff.
Let me ask you this, John. Let me ask you this question, John, with your expertise on this matter. Don't you think, though, that with Amy Barrett being held back from being on the Supreme Court during this current status, maybe it was a smart thing to do because of the possible retiring from the court by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it would almost be a natural shoo-in for Amy Barrett at that time? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't think Ginsburg's going to retire. I think they're going to play weekend at Ruth Bader's as long as they possibly can. They do not want us to fill that seat. I think we should have appointed somebody with an eye towards winning the midterm elections because if there's not much going to happen for Trump after that. If he loses the House, he will effectively have been a 2-year president. And I think everybody needs to realize that and need to get out and win this election.
Let me go back to your book. Give us the title of the book again and the locations where people can find it, because I think this book is going to be a home run. Go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll make sure to get you a copy. It's The Politically Incorrect Guide to Immigration from Regnery. And I think it's probably at most Barnes & Nobles and what other brick-and-mortar bookstores are out there, Books A Million. It's certainly available on Amazon. And it's a short read. It's only, it's not even 200 pages. It's a quick read. People told me it's a pleasant read. Very highly concentrated with facts and arguments, but fun to read, funny, argumentative, but not mean. It's got a compassionate edge. Each of us talk about the immigration history of our family, because each of us had our grandparents were the first ones to come to America. So, we're not sons of the American Revolution trying to pull up the ladder and shut the gates. We want to preserve the country that was kind enough to welcome our grandparents who came here legally, and we want to keep it safe and strong and prosperous and free for everyone who's already here, rather than filling up the lifeboat to the point where it sinks and everyone drowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm sure with a marketing plan, you're going to be sending complimentary copies to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, correct?
No, we don't want to waste it.
Okay.
We quote the heck out of them, though, in the book. There's a lot of good. They gave us a lot of good material.
John, I always look forward to having you on our program. I can't wait to get that book so I can read it and have you back and discuss it. And thank you, John Zemurek. God bless you, man. Thanks.
You too.
All right, sir. Very interesting and informative person. I've had many, many times John Zemurek on our program, and also Al Parada with the various writings that he has with the stream.org, and I've got a lot of respect for their ability. Thank you very much, and I get a copy of that book. I'll read it quickly and then put them on the air, and we'll discuss it again. Thank you very much. Holy cow, we got to get a weather forecast on here, and then I'd like some calls. I'd just like to hear from you folks out in the hinterland, what's going on, what's happening to you and your family during the summer. What are your thoughts about some of the political stories, etc.? Just give us a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Want to remind you the weather brought to you right now by our friends at Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Hello, Leiden and everybody over there. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, and payroll services, retirement planning, etc. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. And please be informed that there are and have been big changes to the tax law this year, with tax rates have been changed and new deductions and some of the alterations of the old deductions. You better get a hold of them right now. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert, and they will help you. Right now, here's the weather with Scotty.
Well, good morning. Scotty Cameron in with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Going to cool down just a touch for today. Looking for some sun. Highs are going to be around 88. Winds still going to be blowing a little bit. Clear for tonight with a low of 56. Then for tomorrow, looking for sunny skies. A high near 89. Winds will be calming down just a bit. Clear skies for Thursday night with a low of 55. Sunny, going to heat up a little bit more on Friday. Highs around 94. Sunny and 95 for Saturday. Then for Sunday, looking for a high of 93. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron setting in for Gina Jameson.
Thank you, Scotty. Great job with the weather, buddy. And don't forget, I know somebody that has a great job serving you with accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area, and that's Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Don't forget, check out all the tax law changes, and they are there to serve you, your family, and your business. The great, great people with Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. All right, your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I couldn't believe this story when I read this, but the chances of being bit by a venomous snake in the United States of America are 1 in 37,500. The chances of being bitten or injured or mauled by a bear are 1 in 2 million. The chances of being bitten by a shark are 1 in 11.5 million. But one guy in Grand Junction, Colorado, Dylan McWilliams, 20-year-old kid, has already had all 3 happen to him. He has been bitten by a shark, he's been bitten by a bear, and he's been bitten by a rattlesnake. With all those chances of it not happening, this poor kid has had all 3. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Hey, I just called me coming to the table late, Chris Hundo. I was trying to decide, remember what the name of John Zemerick's book is.
Oh my goodness, I didn't write it all down. I think it was blanket immigration. I'll tell you what, I'll get it for him. I was taking notes on a lot of things while he was talking. I'll get that so I can have it for you tomorrow.
Okay, because I listen to you every day.
And he's going to be sending me a copy right away, and like I said, I'll read it, and as soon as I get the copy, I'll have him back on the air. But I was not aware. When we started the conversation that he and Al Parada had finished that book together, so it was kind of news for me, too. But as soon as I get that, Chris, I'll let you know.
Oh, please. Because I sure want to know everything I can know to keep this country strong and free.
Well, let me ask you something, Chris, and you follow all this every day. I was reading in the paper this morning that Idaho, of course, being the fastest growing state in the United States, and I know I'm going to sound a little backward on this, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm not looking to the future, but I'm not so sure that I'm really excited to see and hear that Idaho is the fastest growing state in the United States because of the type and the character and the personality of some of these people that are coming in here.
Yes, I've heard that said about 3 times lately, and it kind of sends shivers up my spine because it sounds to me like somewhere along the way Idaho is being pushed as the place you ought to go. And how come? Because most of the rest of the United States has kind of overlooked Idaho and figured we're just kind of a bunch of backward ninnies. And I think that we're on the radar by the liberals.
I just am a little concerned about, and I know people are going to say this is racist and bigoted and everything else. I think we've got to look to put our best foot forward. And our best foot forward means in education. Our best foot forward means in the people that leave our school and our districts and they go on to higher education. I think we've got to create an aura of positiveness and achieving career successes. And I don't want to see a bunch of people coming in here that are unemployed and have no skills and are on the dole. That worries me.
Well, and I think that Idaho comes to the top when people are looking for those kind of jobs, and yet we have many industries in our state that need qualified people, and I hope that we get a little more cognizant of that. I just don't know who do you go to wake them up.
Yeah, I'm afraid
we are going to have a new governor, we know, but what do we know about the candidates that are running?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I am very fearful, and I mean this, and I'm going to step right out to the forefront, and I'm very fearful of a person like Paulette Jordan on the Democratic ticket. I'm a real proponent that she is not qualified at 38 years of age. She wants to spend a lot of money to give to other people opportunities, but where's the money going to come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's 38 years old. How wealthy is she?
Yeah.
You know, she's going to raise her own taxes if she does that. And we've always been a conservative state, and with good leadership, we've been able to pay our bills. But we don't have that vast gold mine in this state, and we need to find our gold mine too. But that means you've got to have people come in here to really make industry or whatever.
Yeah, right. I'm just very concerned about what's going on. I think everybody should be cognizant of what's happening in politics, not only nationwide, but especially and specifically right here in the state of Idaho. This election coming up in November is very, very important. And I will say this. I think you will see a huge influx of interest and money from the far left coming into the governor election for our state this fall.
Well, I think it's probably already here.
Could very well be. Chris, God bless you. Nice to...
We've been on the radar, and I know that I hear this on many news things. Boy, Idaho is really growing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me get that book for you, and I'll take care of it for you. As a matter of fact, I'll even make sure you get a copy. So God bless you, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see, where am I? Oh, we've got to have this good word for our friends, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Yes, when you think about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, and employee benefits, always think of Cameron and Siemens Insurance. They're really accessible and devoted to serving their clients. So please, all you need to do is just sit down, call the number 436-4424 and make an appointment. Then the ball is rolling. They can help you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, 436-4424. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk to old Cash Taylor, the chairman of Oakley Pioneer Days. A lot of good fun things going on up there in the next couple of days. And then at 10:30, Dr. Michael Bussler on trade wars. What's going on? We're going to turn it over to Wheels. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Oh, we're back. Yes, we are. Right here sitting in the saddle for 3 hours every morning, Monday through Thursday. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell. And, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. If you're leaving on a road trip, you better get in there first, and they've got the best of tires for you, your cars, all your trailers, etc. at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And also some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. By the way, some great merchants up in Oakley that want you to come on up and enjoy all the fun at the 131st activity of the Oakley Pioneer Days. Includes Smith's Cafe at 135 East Main in Burley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 6:30 in the morning until all the customers are gone, and they've got the best burgers in the county, and all they say is come on in and enjoy during Oakley Pioneer Days, Smith's Cafe. And also, Speaker of the House, Representative Scott Bedke, says you'd better enjoy the great, great Oakley Pioneer Days, 131 years of family Western traditions. Thank you, Scott Bedke, Speaker of the House. We appreciate all that he does. Right now, we're going to get on the telephone and we're going to talk to the head man, the chairman of the Oakley Pioneer Days. Here he is, Cash Taylor. Good morning, Cash. How are you?
Morning.
How's it going, Cash? Are you ready for Oakley Pioneer Days?
We are. We have got a lot of things planned this year for everyone to come and enjoy, and we're excited to get things going.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a question. How in the world do you get elevated to the position of being the king for the Oakley Pioneer Days? You're sitting there with the scepter up on your golden saddle, and you tell everybody what to do. Is that how it works?
Well, that's that sounds nice, but I don't know if that's how it works all the time.
Okay. You know, there's so many things to do and so many events happening at Oakley Pioneer Days. Holy cow. The one that's going to start this weekend on Friday and Saturday night, the world-famous bump and rub four-cylinder car race. I've heard that Oakley International Airport is going to be swamped with jets coming in from all over the country.
That's pretty close. Our car race has really turned into a world-renowned event, and there's people from all over the state that love to come and watch, and it's an exciting time and lots of action. And I tell you what, if you ever get a chance to drive in or to ride in it, man, you talk about a rush.
Well, now tell us a little bit. Are there any rules? Give us kind of a synopsis of how the race takes place, how you come up with the qualifiers or the disqualifiers. Give us kind of a thumbnail sketch.
Yeah, so that car race is and then we'll pass it out and everything. And then
Cash, we're losing you. Hold on just a minute, Cash. Listen to me. If you're moving with that cell phone, stop, because we can't have you moving at all. We've got to have you stand perfectly still. There's been some disconnect on the cell phone, so don't move and start over again, please, with the explanation of the race.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, this Friday and Saturday, July 13th and 14th, we'll kick off our Pioneer Days with our annual bump. The four-cylinder car race, and anyone can enter. You have to be 18 or older, and if you've got an old junker car out back that runs or can find one, then you're more than welcome to enter up. And you're allowed to have a co-pilot driver, so you can drive by yourself or have a buddy ride with you if he's brave enough. And we just take it's a bracket type of double elimination race where we usually have about 20 to 25 cars that we run head to head, 2 nights of racing, and we set up a track that's going to challenge some of those drivers on how well they drive on them backcountry roads. And by the end of the second night, we're going to get a champion here that can outdrive everyone else.
Well, now, tell me, this sounds kind of like the old days back in the Southeast with the moonshine running. It sounds like it can get a little wild and western.
It does. It can get wild and western, and that's what it's about like. The last 2 years, we've even had a car that had cop lights on him that he would turn them lights on and chase them other cars around the track.
Well, now, what about the admission fee? How much is it to get into the race on Friday and Saturday night?
So, yeah, Friday, the admissions for both nights, Friday and Saturday, are adults $8, and then kids 4 to 10, $5, and 65 and older, $5, and 3 and under are free. And that Friday night, racing starts, the Calcutta starts at 6 o'clock on Friday, and that's where we'll take all the cars and give a chance to other people or spectators or something to get in on the action as well and maybe buy one of those cars if they think that car will come out on top at the end of the day, and that puts a pretty good chance for them to take home a little bit of money as well. And then racing starts right after we get done with the Calcutta, and then on Saturday we'll kick off at 6 o'clock with racing on Saturday.
Now, Cash, this is kind of the kickoff this weekend with the Bump and Rub car race to next week's activities of the Oakley Pioneer Days. And you've got something every day for everybody. Why don't you give us a rundown, starting with what's happening on Tuesday, July 17th?
We do. As a board, we set and think constantly of things we can do to give back to the community and let everyone get a little piece of something fun that they can enjoy with their family. So jumping in week on Tuesday, July 17th, we've got a team roping, and that's for anyone that wants to enter, it's 6 o'clock there at the rodeo ground. They do have a couple of different divisions. They got a number 13 handicap and then another number 10 cap, and there's lots of money there in that deal, and lots of fun in the team roping. And then Wednesday night, we've added a new event this year, and it's the Moto Rodeo. And I guess for those people that don't like riding the horse that much, or are tired of getting bucked off, I guess, they can bring their four-wheeler or motorbike out there and run the obstacle course and run around the barrels and have a little rodeo motorcycle.
Okay. Now, every year at Oakley Pioneer Days, Cash, you guys really put together one of the best gymkhanas for the kids that ever in this area. It's going to be Thursday, July 19th at 6 o'clock, and I know you're probably expecting a ton of kids to come to that.
We do. We are really proud of our gymkhana, and it's one of the best around that offers the most events to all them kids. And we get a lot of little cowboys and cowgirls that come out that night and participate in that. And that's Thursday, July 19th at 6 p.m. We do have some pre-enter dates. That's July 10th and 11th at Branded Boutique and Tack at 2502 Overland Avenue in Burley. And you can get pre-entered and signed up there. And then we got all sorts of events for every age group. Admission fee for that is $5 for adults, and 16 and under are free.
Okay. That leads us up to Friday and Saturday of next week on the 20th and 21st. Great big, again, almost world-famous Oakley Rodeo. Tell us about that.
We do. Friday and Saturday, the 20th and 21st. We have our open rodeo. We've got co-sanctioned with the IMPRA as well, and it's really been one of the top amateur rodeos in all of southern Idaho. And we're working harder every year to make it a better experience for the cowboys, have more added money, and also have enough entertainment to get everyone out there on Friday and Saturday. And it starts at 7:30 p.m. nightly. We got lots of events, lots of cowboys entered up. Got our wild horse racing on Friday night and wild cow riding on Saturday night. And for those that are interested in the wild horse racing and wild cow riding, you can give me a call at 208-430-2479. And also admission for those nights will be $8 for adults and $5 for kids 4 to 10, and for seniors 65 and over, and then 3 and under are free.
Now I understand.
Friday after our rodeo, there'll be a dance there in the park, so lots more entertainment planned for those nights as well. We got the Saddle Strings Band coming, and that'll be in the Oakley City Park.
Okay.
And then Saturday, man, you talk about a day full of things for everyone to do. They got anywhere from the Goose Creek runoff there in the morning to the play going on all week long. And then we got that famous Oakley steak beef barbecue there in the park, as well as one of the best parades to go to in all southern Idaho is our Pioneer Day Parade at 11 a.m.
Now, let me ask you this. I had somebody call me yesterday after the program, and they were asking about, are you still taking entrance for the parade, or is it all filled up? Tell us about that.
I believe they still are taking entries for the parade. That will last up into probably next Thursday. And if anyone is interested in still entering up in the parade, you can call Debbie Gibby at 208-312-26
2654.
Okay. Now, what about the Grand Marshals and the honored pioneers that you're going to celebrate during the parade for Oakley Pioneer Days? Do you want to mention who those folks are?
You betcha. We're so grateful for all those honored pioneers in our lives that have come before us and that are still with us. They mean so much to the Oakley Vigilantes and to the town of Oakley and the surrounding community. And we're just grateful for them. And this year we have quite a few of those people that we're wanting to recognize for all that they've done. And those Grand Marshals this year are Basil and Rowene Fairchild. And then our honored pioneers this year are Delroy and Sidney Mitten, Kent Sevier, Beverly Franks, Gary and Rita D. Christensen, Daryl and Faye Holmes, Joe and Dorcas Anderson, and Galen and Joetta Patterson.
Absolutely. You know, one event that we didn't mention that's going to take place on Friday, and I believe that's going to be that 3-on-3 basketball tournament. You might tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so Friday at there at the high school, there'll be the 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and it's a really great opportunity for those people that love playing basketball to get entered up in that. There's a lot of good competition that comes to that 3-on-3 basketball tournament from Idaho, Utah, all the states around us. And for anyone that's interested in that, they can get a hold of Jeff Bedke at 208-312-3203.
Okay. Now, Cash, I got to ask you, the Oakley Vigilantes, how many years have you been doing this, and what changes have you personally seen in the scheduling and all the people coming up to Oakley? Is it getting bigger and better every year?
Yeah, so the group, the Oakley Vigilantes, is a nonprofit group of volunteers that are selected from the surrounding communities and in Oakley to help take care of our rodeo grounds up there in Oakley and to put on events and give back to our community there in Oakley and everyone else around us. You know, the Vigilantes have been around for over, close to 100 years. And I've had, just in my family, I've had many people that come before me that's been members of the Oakley Vigilantes. So it is an honor for me to carry on that tradition. And we just want to thank everyone in the community and all around us that help us out, especially our wonderful sponsors. And whenever you guys are up there to Oakley and can look at our sponsors and see what they do for us and give back to them, we just can't do all the stuff that we do without those wonderful sponsors. So check those out through our program and look at the banners there around the arena and give recognition to those sponsors that help us out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, honestly, this thing gets better every year, and that's the way it should be. And we sit there all year long and think of ways that we can give back to the community and think of things that we can do to have people and families come out and enjoy a night out there with their family. So I do. I think it is getting better, bigger and better, and it's wonderful to see all those people come out every year and to talk to them throughout the year and say, hey, we were there last year, and we loved it. We're planning on coming back.
I love it. I'll tell you what, this year the theme for the Oakley Pioneer Days, looking forward with faith. And it starts this weekend with the bump and rub car race and then goes all next week. I want to say, Cash Taylor, you did one heck of a good job, and I'll look forward to having you back.
Well, I appreciate it, Zeb. Thanks for having me. I'll enjoy
always enjoy being on here with you and talking with you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Have a great day and enjoy all of Oakley Pioneer Days. And I'll tell you what, it kicks off this weekend, like I said, with the Bump and Rub car race on Friday and Saturday, and then all next week. Man, those folks up there, they really know how to put on a great big activity. Thank you very much. Right now, we've got time for a couple of extra calls. Give us a jingle on the landline at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I would sure like to hear from you, and we'll discuss any topic you want to talk about for the next couple of minutes before we send it back over to our studios. There was a letter in the paper this morning by a Mike Tilka of Jerome, and it was very well written, and I urge you to read his letter. The title of the letter was "We the People Run This Country." And at the very end of the letter, his feelings are summed up, and I couldn't agree with him more. To all you disruptors out there, interrupt my meal in a restaurant, but be prepared to suffer the consequences. It won't be pretty. I like that. That's what we have to do, folks. We've got to take the bull by the horns. We've got to absolutely, we in the right, on the right of the issues, have to stand up and let our voices be heard. And it's long overdue. Long overdue. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, Trump is meeting with NATO, and he's calling these people out for their, whatever you want to call it. And so they haven't been doing their part. They've been playing games with each other. Merkel and Germany are up to some sort of thing with natural gas. I don't even quite hear it all. But the thing of it is they act one way and they do completely different things, and they think they're getting away with it, and they're so phony, and Trump is calling them all out. When Donald Trump speaks, the world listens.
Absolutely. Randy, would you agree with me that many of these people, whether it's Merkel with Germany or whomever it is in NATO, any country in the world, they need to have their chain pulled a little bit because they've been getting away with following their own rules instead of other rules in a group, and Trump is the first one that's called their attention to things are going to shape up and get better, and I salute him for doing it.
I tell you what, the world, I tell you what, the world is taking notice, and, it's just like these tariffs, and whether or not it was Paul Ryan from Wisconsin saying that he didn't agree. Well, you know what? We've got to get something started somehow. We've got to get this thing squared away so it's fair to us, and, it's amazing what's going on in our country and how the consumer confidence and the investor confidence is so high. So many things are so great. ISIS is dashed. We could just go on and with what he's been doing.
I agree. Randy, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. Thank you.
See ya.
Caller number 2, quickly, you're on the air. Thank you for your time and your call.
Just a moment. I didn't get to hear when the parade was up at Oakley.
The parade is going to be at 11 a.m. on Saturday, the 21st.
Thank you very much.
You bet, sir. Thanks for calling. Appreciate that. Anytime I get a chance to give Oakley and their Pioneer Days a plug, I will, because those are really good people up there that have put a lot of effort into their Oakley Pioneer Days celebration. Years and years and years ago, I used to announce that rodeo up there. And some just great people that take a lot of time and effort as volunteers to go out and organize all these different events, whether it's the Gymkhana, whether it's the team roping, the basketball tournament, or the Goose Creek runoff, or whatever it might be. It takes a lot of people to get the job done. And I salute the people up in Oakley. They do a wonderful Pioneer Days celebration. Okay, a reminder that on the 26th, and I had some calls yesterday after the program, the 26th of this month, Thursday the 26th, will be the next Lunch Bunch Day. That will be at Denny's Restaurant, of course, America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley. And we'll have a lot of door prizes to give away, and we'll have great food to eat, and we always have kind of a kinship with each other. Hi, how you doing in this kind of atmosphere? But please bring some friends and neighbors and some new relatives or whatever the case might be to the Lunch Bunch. We'd love to have them at Denny's Restaurant on the 26th at 11:30. Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Thank you very much. Let me see what else have I got cooking. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Dr. Michael Bustler, and he is a public policy analyst, economics expert, and a professor, and he's going to talk to us about trade wars. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? What's the atmosphere with Trump saying, hey, wait a minute, we want fair and equitable trade? We're going to talk to Dr. Michael Bustler about that in just a few minutes, but right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studios for this break at the bottom of the hour. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you. Beautiful day outside today. My, I can't see a cloud in the sky. Enjoy. Great summer right here in southern Idaho. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and I've had this gentleman on the program before, and welcome him back again. Dr. Michael Bustler, and he is a public policy analyst, economics expert, and a professor, all rolled into one. Good morning, Doctor. How are you?
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
You know, Dr. Bustler, is it Bustler or Boosler? Let me ask you so I don't say the name wrong.
No, you're right the first time. Bustler, yes.
All right, sir. What do you think about what's going on today with the Trump administration? And I will say it this way, correct me please if you think I'm wrong, but the policies that have been in effect for quite some time, Donald Trump is looking at these and saying, wait a minute, this isn't the way we're going to fly the plane right now. We're going to do it so it's fair for us and fair for you, and we're going to make some changes. And a lot of countries and a lot of leaders, I don't think they've ever had this said to them before.
I think that's a perfect assessment. So he's over there now speaking with foreign leaders. His first problem, now he's speaking with NATO leaders, but his first problem was he took a look at the trade agreements that we have going back to 1994 with the NAFTA between Canada, U.S., and Mexico, agreements with some other countries, and then the agreement that they signed with the European Union. The thing is, with those agreements, for whatever reason, they gave favorable treatment to our trading partners and therefore unfavorable treatment to us. For instance, if the European Union, Germany or France, produces a car and sells it in the U.S., they pay a 2.5% tariff. If the U.S. Produces a car and sells it in Europe, we pay a 10% tariff. So there are, and most of the trade deals are lopsided like that. The one with NAFTA with Canada and Mexico is even worse. We put some small tariffs on their products, but you take a product like dairy products, the U.S. is extremely efficient in producing dairy products. Mm-hmm. As a result, we produce them at a very low cost. If we send them to Canada to keep their dairy farmers in business, because they're not nearly as efficient as we are, Canada puts a 270% tariff on the product. That means if something we would sell for $1, they would put a $2.70 tariff on it, so it would now be $3.70. As a result, we're not selling very much dairy products in Canada where it could be a good market. An analogy might be if we're playing in a baseball game and the U.S. gets 3 outs per inning, for whatever reason, we decide to give Canada 4 outs per inning. Well, after 4 or 5 years go by, we realize we're losing every ball game. So a politician would convene a summit, send representatives from both sides. You do that in the fall. They'll then go back to the leaders, and next year we'll convene another summit, and then we'll discuss it a little more, and before you know it, nothing happens.
You're right.
President Trump is not a politician. He's a business person.
Absolutely.
A business person sees a problem, immediately confronts it, looks at the options, chooses the best option, and implements, and he's not waiting years for this to happen. He's not a person that will kick the can down the road for other presidents to deal with. So what Trump has said is, look, I want to bring everybody to the table, and let's start making these trade agreements not only free, but fair, so they're the same on both sides. Now, when he had the G7 meeting the month before last, it looked like Trudeau was going to go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then he went back to his constituents, and they said, wait a minute, you can't do that, the dairy farmer said. If you don't keep that big tariff on, we'll never be able to compete. So then Trudeau changed his mind, and that's where we get this tiff now between Trudeau and Trump. As a business person, to solve a problem, you want to bring everybody to the table quickly. So to do that, President Trump will create a sense of urgency. By putting on these tariffs, which are hurting our partners more than they're going to hurt us, we're really holding all the cards here. He's hoping that will put enough pressure on them to bring them to the table and finally resolve this so we end up with free trade and also trade that's fair.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this, and the obvious question I think that looms out the back door of the House is, why and how did this ever happen? Where were our senators? Where were our congressmen allowing this kind of a trade imbalance to hurt us, the United States? Why didn't somebody stand up and say something?
Well, I'm not real sure. The only thing I can figure is the U.S. negotiators were trying to be compassionate and say, look, we're in a much stronger position. We want to help the Canadian economy. We want to help the Mexican economy develop. So we'll allow you to get 4 outs every inning when we only get 3 outs every inning. I'm assuming they did it as a gesture of goodwill to our trading partners, not realizing the damage it causes to the U.S. And for years now, there is hundreds of billions, not millions, billions of dollars flowing out of the country because we have this negative balance of trade where it's difficult for us to sell our products, so they're not buying as much, so not as much money is flowing in. It's easier for them to sell their products to the U.S., so we're buying more and money is flowing out. Why they did this in the first place, I'm not sure. I'm just going to assume they thought it was the compassionate thing to do without putting America's interests first. And President Trump wants to put America's interests first, not somebody else's interests first.
You know, let me sound a little clandestine here, Dr. Bustler. I've had you on the program before, and I absolutely enjoy listening to you. But I'm going to sound a little clandestine when I say that this sounds like a perpetrated plot to bring the United States down to a lower standard in the world and build everybody else up so there's more equality. I don't like to say that, but I believe it's true.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. The prior administration, I think, really took that view, that America shouldn't be so great. They're not so much better than everybody else, and everybody else should have the same as we do. So there was, with the prior administration, not just looking at income inequality within the U.S., but they were looking at income inequality throughout the world. And they say, look, the U.S. can afford to be generous to everybody else because we have so much.
Dr. Bustler, what do you think is going to happen? The news media in our country is against Donald Trump. They make fun of him. They mock his trade policies. They mock the way he's meeting with NATO, etc. But quite frankly, my feeling is you've got to literally slap some people in the face to get them aware that things aren't going to be the way they were for the last 30 years.
You know, I agree with you. Every president, when they confront a problem like this, they want to do the politically correct thing. They don't want to ruffle any feathers. They don't want to get any of our allies upset with us. So they sort of placate things and then kick the can down the road for the next president to deal with. And I agree with you. President Trump is not like that. There are problems that need to be solved. He's going to confront the problems and solve them. Another example, the reason the trade imbalance is so much in China's favor, dealing with China, is that the Chinese manipulate their currency. So what does that mean? So normally we let the market, through economic forces and all kinds of things, determine what the exchange rate should be between the dollar and the euro, or the dollar and the Canadian dollar, or the dollar and English pound. You let the market determine what that is, and that will keep free trade moving. China, they peg their currency, they set the exchange rate where the dollar becomes very expensive for them, and their currency, the yuan, ends up becoming very cheap. So now it's very inexpensive for Americans to buy things, so we're buying a lot from the Chinese, and it becomes expensive for the Chinese to buy American products because of this manipulation. You may recall in 2012, when Mitt Romney was running for president, he brought up this problem. He said, we have to deal with China's manipulating the currency. I thought President Obama agreed with him, but again, that was 2012. Here it is 2018, 6 years later, and nothing's really been done. President Trump will confront problems and find the best solution that he can right away. He's not going to wait years for people to do the politically correct thing and come up with solutions further down the road. He wants these problems resolved now, and that's what he's trying to do.
Let me ask you this question, Dr. Bustler, and for lack of a better terminology, and Wheels over at the station, we've got feedback on the line. Watch that a little bit. But right now, the stock market, up one day 200 points, the next day down 500. The next day up 300 points, the next day down 100. And it's almost like somebody caught between first and second on a pickoff plate. Do you think this market is going to stabilize in the long run?
Yeah, so stock prices, there's a number of factors that go into them, but the primary factor of what somebody will pay for a stock depends upon what they expect the company to earn in the future. If you think earnings are going to go way up, then you know the stock's worth more. If you think earnings are going to go down, then you think the stock is worth less. Overall, the trend in the stock market continues to be up, and the reason is very simple. Corporate profits are up about 20% over last year. Much of that has to do with the tax cut that was put in, and the rest of it has to do with the better economy. So with earnings going up by 20%, you'd expect stock prices to go up by 20%. Now, they're not. They're fluctuating wildly, just as you said. The reason for that is uncertainty. So Trump says, I'm going to confront this trade problem. I want to create a sense of urgency and bring people to the table to resolve this quickly. The way to do that is to put these tariffs on. So now that adds uncertainty. And let me say, President Trump favors free and fair trade. If it was up to him, there would be no tariffs on anything. Politically, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but that's the goal he's shooting for. Putting the tariffs on now, designed to bring the trading partners to the table and finally get this resolved. With investors in the stock market, you don't know how this is going to turn out. So to try to say how much you'll pay for a share of stock, again, depends on the profit you expect the company to make. But with this trade war that's going on, if Trump is not right and this drags into the future, it could slow the economy down and have a negative impact on profits. So when the tariffs go on, investors get nervous and they pay lower prices for stocks. Then they realize that, hey, the economy is doing exceptionally well, and the second quarter of this year's number, which will be out in a couple of weeks, is likely to show the economy growing at over a 4% annual rate, something we haven't seen in years. But the fundamentals in the economy are strong. Corporations are making good profits. They're up about 20% over last year, but there is some uncertainty, and it's that uncertainty that drives the big fluctuations in the stock market.
One final thought before I let you go, Dr. Busler. As an economist that's very well respected in your field, thumbs up for Donald Trump and his administration and his policies, or thumbs down?
I would say thumbs up. I agree virtually with everything that he's doing, even though sometimes he says things that, to be perfectly honest, make my stomach churn. And sometimes he tweets some things out where my stomach churns. But aside from his personality flaws and his lack of being a seasoned politician, the policies he's implementing will lead to long-term economic growth. He's doing the same thing Reagan did in 1982, cut the taxes, reduce regulations, spend less on social programs. Not that you want to cut food out of anybody's mouth, but you want to give opportunity for people to earn it themselves so they don't need government assistance. When Reagan did it in 1982, the economy went on a 25-year growth spurt, slight hiccup in 91 and 2001, but essentially a 25-year growth spurt. I don't know if it'll be that long, but I think we're looking at a very significant growth spurt into the future. So I have to give him a wholehearted thumbs up.
I like this man on the program. You've got to come back. Dr. Michael Busler, public policy analyst and economics expert. Thank you, sir. God's blessings, and please come back soon.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I look forward to coming back.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Man is very, very articulate about economics, and I've enjoyed having him on the program. Again, Dr. Michael Busler, and I appreciate that. Hey, don't forget, before we do the weather, the Bennett Boys Auction Service is going to have a great big sale coming up this Saturday at 11 a.m. The Roland Shop Auction. It's going to be in Hagerman at 2771 South, 850 East. You'll see the signs. Don't miss it. And they're going to have lunch by the cook shack. There's going to be lawnmowers and sporting items, fishing poles, lots of tackle boxes. There's going to be shop tools. There's going to be grinders. There's going to be saws, band saws. There's going to be miscellaneous items all the way to wicker furniture and willow furniture. You don't want to miss this. The Roland Shop Auction at 11 o'clock this coming Saturday, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. And, of course, Joe Bennett and his staff. The number to call, 539-0111, the Bennett Boys Auction Service. I'm telling you, there is no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they do sell them all. Right now it's time for the weather. And the weather brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Ooh, I'm telling you, a lot of you folks are really putting on your Chef Boyardee outfit and you're standing out there barbecuing. Well, they've got all the meats for a successful barbecue. Oh, marinated pork ribs. Ooh, wow. How about the tri-tips? I love tri-tip sandwiches. You're just going to have a ball and enjoy the great eating with all the meats from Scarro's Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Got me drooling. It's delicious, Scarro's Meats. Right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Well, good morning. Scotty Cameron in with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Going to cool down just a touch for today. Looking for some sun. Highs are going to be around 88. Winds still going to be blowing a little bit. Clear for tonight with a low of 56. Then for tomorrow, looking for sunny skies. A high near 89. Winds will be calming down just a bit. Clear skies for Thursday night with a low of 55. Sunny, going to heat up a little bit more on Friday. Highs around 94. Sunny and 95 for Saturday. Then for Sunday, looking for a high of of 93. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron setting in for Gina Jameson.
Thank you, Scotty, and brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats. Man, they've been on our program for a long, long time. Delicious meats. I mean, whether it's the bacons, the breakfast sausages, the bratwurst, or the marinated pork ribs. Oh, my goodness, they're only $1.99 per pound. Oh, they've got so many great barbecue packages. Better check it out. Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. I've got time for a call or two. Give me a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Love to hear from you, so give us a jingle on the landline. While I am waiting for your call, tomorrow being Thursday, man, if we got a full plate, we're going to have the open forum for the first hour. And then, of course, we have the Chamber of Commerce report with rapid fire Sarah Seymour at the Chamber office. And then our weekly introduction to many people that are working at Cassia Regional Hospital. They have an outstanding staff over there. That'll be on the program. Then Rita Ramsey's going to be here at about 9:30. And that's going to be followed by Starving to Death. And then at 10:10, we've got our folks with Cassia County School Days. Always look forward to that. We have a business salute every Thursday on the program where we highlight one of our sponsors, and that's, of course, going to feature tomorrow. We're going to talk to Mount Harrison Audiology, and then at 10:30, don't forget the Old Fishing Hole, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I'll take up a little bit of your time.
Well, you just go right ahead.
Schumer, he's got his bunch of gangsters out there trying to cause mayhem and rioting out in the streets, which will eventually lead to police officers being injured and possibly losing their lives. What are we going to do with this guy? What's it going to take to stop him?
Well, what it's going to take to stop him and any power on the left is go to the polls in November and make sure that the Democrats don't have any power whatsoever. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, as you are well aware, Tony, they are using a kind of a grasp for the brass ring that they think is going to bring them success. However, that brass ring is connected to turmoil. That brass ring is connected to nothing good economically. That brass ring is connected to higher taxes. They absolutely are for open borders and anybody and everybody come on into America. I am very afraid of the Democratic Party because it's turned into a socialist communistic party I don't want a part of.
You know, I think it's going to get to the point now, if you and I have religious stickers on our cars are going to be damaged. If we have NRA stickers on there, our cars are going to be damaged. This is my feeling about what's coming from Chuck Schumer.
I'm very concerned as to the attack on values, the attack on people that are of religious persuasion, like myself and you, Christians. I'm very concerned about being a conservative in my beliefs politically, because I think we are in a fishbowl right now, and everybody's looking at us and trying to do harm to us. And I'm telling you, Tony, we've got to stand up and speak for ourselves, and it's time to fight back.
Well, like I said before, we've got a lot of fairgrounds here, and we can have big meetings there, bringing people together, get something done. Maybe we can organize our feelings.
I hope so, but the timidity of the right, and I mean that, they're afraid to speak out, they're afraid to do anything. Meanwhile, the left is acting like a Gestapo, and it's got to stop. I'm really concerned about what's going to happen in this country.
Oh, I am too. I am too.
All right.
I hope people get enough courage to try to put a stop to this.
I do too. Tony, say hello to Mary for me. God bless you, my dear friend.
Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you, sir. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And I can't say enough about how well they've treated me over the many, many years and how they've treated you, the consumer. I mean, always with the best of respect and service. When you're getting ready for a road trip, remember they have all the tires for your cars, your SUVs, your pickup trucks. They got them all for your camp trailers, horse trailers, etc. They want you to make sure that when you leave on a road trip that you're going to drive safely and turn around, come back home safely. They've got all the tires. They've got the best in brake service with highly trained brake technicians. And, of course, don't forget all the front end components and making sure that your wheel alignment is right, your brakes are good, your batteries are excellent. They make sure everything is A-OK before you take off and go. So stop in and see these great folks today. 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run. It's been a great program. Thank you, all of you, for helping make it better all the time, every day. And God bless you. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:06. Ride the Horse for 3 hours right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m. and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless.